When I started to film myself in the gym, I really felt awkward and just like an idiot placing a camera in a gym in such an open public space. And if you ever try to film yourself in a gym, I bet you know that feeling. But if you want to film yourself in the gym and feel somewhat good and somewhat confident about it, this video is for you.
Breaking my back just to know your name. 17 tracks and I've had it with this game. I'm breaking my back just to know your name. But heaven ain't close in a place like this. Anything goes, but don't think you might miss.
So I'm gonna walk you through how I actually do it now. The angles, the setup and the settings. And it honestly doesn't matter if you're filming on a real camera or just your phone. That part matters way less than people think actually. But before we get into the technical stuff, I want to talk about the part nobody really mentions. And that's the feeling.
Well, somebody told me you had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend that I had in February of last year. It's not confidential, I've got potential.
The feeling you get when you're with a camera in such an open space, like the gym. Filming yourself is exactly like working out for the first time. You walk into a gym, you don't know what you're doing. You feel like everyone's judging you and most people quit right there. But the ones who stick around, they didn't get less nervous because they learned some secret sauce or something. They just kept showing up until it felt normal. And filming is pretty much the same. It's the same as training.
Well, somebody told me you had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend that I had in February of last year. It's not confidential, I've got potential, rushing around.
You're hyper aware of the camera, of the people around you, of how you look. You just feel judged. Somewhere after you put in the reps of filming yourself, you just stop noticing in a way. Of course you're not just completely ignoring it, but you get comfortable with that feeling. It just becomes kind of part of the training session, if that makes any sense. And to be honest, that's the whole secret. Nothing more. Basically, just do it. You just have to go out there, film yourself with a camera while training. It's just like training itself. There's no secret thing like you have to use this special equipment, you have to do this and that. You just have to do it so many times that you get comfortable with it, just doing it, you know? I'm sorry if this isn't the thing you hoped for clicking on this video, but I don't want to make an awful long video about clickbaiting you that there's something special, some secret. It's always, in a way, awkward filming in public, but that feeling comes from within you because you think other people are judging you by this or that, you know? But if you start to think in a different way about it, that feeling kind of goes away. Here and there it comes up. It's just a normal feeling in a way. But when you change the way you think about situations and how you judge that situation, you can control your feeling. And that's something you can control. You never can control what other people think of you, but you can control how you think of a given situation and how you judge that situation. And that feeling either creates stress or it doesn't create stress. So make it an effort to focus on that part so you get to be independent in a way. Basically, you just have to get the reps in. You have to train that muscle, that creative muscle, but also that cringe muscle in a way. And the stronger that muscle is, the less cringe you feel. I don't know if that makes sense. For me, it makes sense. Anyway, not sure if I include that part in the video. Okay, so once you've decided, you're just gonna do it. And here's what actually makes the footage look good. And it starts with where you put the camera, but not what camera you have. And if you're on your phone, which is totally fine, by the way, there are a few small things that make a huge difference. But again, that doesn't come only down to the camera, because footage also looks good when you know how to light it properly or how to use the artificial and natural light around you, like for example in the gym. And when you know how to frame things, or in that case, how to frame yourself, so you have to know how to compose a good picture, and then the footage looks good. Because when you have an awesome camera but don't know how to light your subject or don't know how to compose it, the video will not look good. So that being said, let's move on. Okay, regarding all the technical stuff, I want to make it rather quick and give you the most bang for your buck. So lighting is a complicated one in the gym because I really guess you don't want to bring big lights and stuff in the gym, especially when you're just starting out, and that's totally fine. You will have artificial light in the gym and you will have somewhat of some kind of natural light in the gym, and you need to learn how to use that. For example, when light comes or hits my face from this side, it's always nice when you film from the darker side, from the shadow side. It's just a lighting technique we are used from movies, so we think it's cinematic. We are just conditioned to that. So if you're filming near a window, just make sure that you place yourself, like for example in a 45-degree angle to the window, and the camera on the opposite side to that. So the camera is filming from the dark side and the window is lighting you, which is the bright side in a way, if you know what I mean. Just, I don't want to overcomplicate it, you know, I don't want this video to be like, oh, you have to do this and that and that and that and that in the settings, and after that video you're just overwhelmed and get the feeling of, oh, I know all the nooks and crannies of filmmaking to get started. That's totally not what I want to communicate here. It's most important that if you want to start filming yourself, that you just go ahead and film yourself. And the technical aspects, you will figure them out. There are so many tutorials about all the nooks and crannies of the technical stuff. But the hardest part, I'm telling you that from experience, is to go out there in public and film yourself. That is honestly the hardest part. That's the hardest part. So regarding lenses and camera angles, there's this concept of filming wide, medium and close. So you can tell a story with those angles to the viewer. So with a wide shot in the gym, it's a bit tricky because you don't really want to have people in the frame. Or you ask them if they're okay being in the frame, then it's totally fine. But to tell a story for the viewer, it's important that the viewer knows where you are. So you start with a wide shot. So you establish the environment. Or for example, the outside of the gym, so the viewer knows you're going into the gym to tell that story of, I'm going to train now. And when you're in the gym, on location, on set, you can place your camera so that the viewer sees enough of the room to know where you are. A medium shot is very nice to build on that, and a close-up is really close to, for example, the machine itself or to your face, so you can see the emotion, so the viewer really can understand the action that's going on. With your iPhone, you have a lot of cameras nowadays in that phone. You have wide, medium, tele, depending on the phone, but you get the gist. You have a lot of lenses and just use them. You can get a wide shot by just filming with the 0.5x, but you can also get a wider shot, for example, filming with the 1x camera and just placing your phone far away. And the same goes for camera. When you don't have a wide, a medium and a tele lens, just move your camera around. That also should not be an excuse to not film. You don't need the next best lens. And I'm talking from experience. It's kind of common thing under filmmakers that you just always want to have the newest gear. I guess not just filmmakers, I guess in every industry that you think, oh, I need this new piece of equipment and then everything will get easier. Then my content will be so good because of that new lens, that new camera, that new tripod, monopod, microphone, whatever. I get the point, and it's important that you have good enough equipment, that you have fun filming with that equipment. That's totally a valid point, but there will always be something you want to have and you don't have yet, which is just an excuse. So just even if you have one lens, for example, you have a 50mm lens, then you don't have wide angle lengths, that's for sure. But you can just place your camera far away and get that shot. And even if you don't have the possibility to place the camera far away and you don't have a wide angle lens, just film with what you have, learn with that, and you will, I promise you, you can make awesome videos with just one lens when you know how to compose it. And that's the next point. So composing yourself in the frame is another big thing to get good looking shots. And you can turn on the grid for that. You know what? Let's move to the overhead rig and I can show you on the iPad. Okay, so basically when you're filming with the camera, you can turn on the grid. And you can turn on the grid on a proper camera, but also on your iPhone. You don't just want to place yourself like here, always in the middle, front and center, because that's kind of boring. But what looks really good, because we know it from movies and it has this cinematic vibe, is when you place the eye of yourself, when you film yourself, on this corner or in this intersection of the lines. And then you have, for example, here's your eye, and then you have, I don't know, I'm not that good at drawing. Then you have, for example, yourself in this kind of area or on the other side. Another thing that's also really important is to use fore and background. For example, when you have yourself like that, for example, you're training, you're doing something, it would be good when you have something, let's say here in the foreground, which is blurry because the camera is focused on yourself. Maybe you have something in the background as well. So, so you have foreground, you have background, and you have yourself in the middle. So there's like this depth for the viewer. But again, don't overcomplicate things. Just film and see what you like, see what looks good, and play with foreground, play with background, play with placing yourself somewhere on the frame, and just try something. Just go out there and experiment with it, and you will get familiar with those kind of things. It's just like this book says, a habit. You just really want to make this a habit, to film and to film and to film. So that being said, there's one point that's actually really important for me, and that's respect. When you're in the gym with your camera, people also feel awkward because of that camera, and it's very important to respect their presence. You don't want to film other people without them knowing or without them being okay being filmed. So it's either nice to use an angle, for example, from very low, filming up to yourself, that other people really can't be in the frame, or that you just go to them, letting them know that you film and asking if they're okay with that. And if they're not, it's totally fine. It's an open space, it's the gym, and they just want to train, and it's totally okay if they don't want to be filmed. So just be respectful and either move your camera, move yourself, or just wait until they are finished with their set. So if you're just taking away one thing from this video, it's not the settings, it's not the camera, it's not the angles or the lighting. Just go out there and start filming, because that's the hardest part, in my opinion. Because when you put in the reps, you will get better with filming, with lighting, with the angles. That's a skill you will develop when you film. But filming in a gym is very difficult, because you feel awkward, because you feel cringe, and you feel this social pressure. Yet you want to film something because you want to create something, you want to upload things on social media, and that's totally fine. But that's also the hardest part. Just go out there, just start filming and get comfortable with it, and view it as training, just like fitness training or sports in general, just training in general. Train that cringy muscle. Just go out there, just do it. That's the secret sauce, pretty much. Just do it.
Breaking my back just to know your name.